Okay, this video is going to show you how to do some basic fault finding on the Range Rover parking sensors. So that's the parking sensor obviously embedded in the bumpers. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is come into the car, okay, put the key in the ignition, okay, until you get the ignition lights on, and then press the, I'll show you there, press the parking sensors, and you'll hear a slight noise there, okay. And then if you come and listen to each of the parking sensors, you should hear them ticking, okay? So I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, and then you can listen to them all in turn, and you'll hear them ticking. Okay, now if you find one that's not ticking, the job you've got to do then is remove it. Now, basically the parking sensors are fitted into the bumper in a little cassette like this, and actually the parking sensor itself is like it's like a little cigarette that sits inside the bezel. So there's the bezel. If I just pass the camera over to Matt and I'll show you what you do here. If you pull, let's say, that little tab back there, and then on the opposite side there's a little tab, and then you can withdraw, I get this one hasn't been out before, the paint on the front, there you go. So you can withdraw the parking sensor. So there's the actual parking sensor, and that's the bit you can buy from Land Rover, just that part there, and then obviously then they just reassemble. You're looking for the little sloped bit lining up there, and just clip those in. So obviously the bezels are different on the car, but the main sensors are the same. Okay, and then to remove the bezel from the bumper, some of them are trickier than others, but if you look on the side of this is how to remove the front corner one, there's a nut up here we've removed, and that enables you to just pull out, if you watch from the side here, just pull out this piece of the inner wheel arch, and then you can get your hand in behind, and then you'll find the sensor there, and if you just give that a wiggle, push it, that's it, wiggle it out. Okay, and they're all on these sensors. So one thing you need to do is check your wiring, because the wiring does have a problem. Okay, and then on here you've got a little tab you've got to push down. Okay, check the pins aren't corroded, and then what you can do is obviously swap the bezel over, swap the bezel and the parking sensor for a new one, and that hopefully will fix your problem. Okay, now if that still doesn't fix your problem, what you can do is swap. If you've got a known good one on the other side, you can swap it to this one and see if the fault follows the sensor out. If that doesn't fix your problem, what you need to do is have a look in the back. Okay, and if you look in the back, okay, Matt's going to show you where the so in your boot. Okay, now the control module actually lives behind the fuse box. So Matt's going to show you now how to just whip out that fuse box. Okay, so first thing you got to do is remove your warning triangle case. My Matt's going to point out the two bolts you need to get. So there's one there, and there's one in a similar position underneath there, and then there's one over the other side. If we look there, okay, and so they're 10mm, are they, Matt?
Yeah, 10. Yeah, no, 8mm, sorry.
8mm. Okay. Okay, so
they're all the same.
They're all the same, yeah, the bolts there, okay. And obviously just be careful, this fuse box has got 12 volts to it, so just be careful where you place it down when it's removed. Right, and then that whole fuse box actually just swings out of the way fairly neatly. And mounted on the back, if we just have a look there. Now what we've done here is we've marked some markings on here. So there's 3 plugs on this. This is the parking sensor control module for the whole car. Now the one on the left here we've marked F controls the front parking sensors. The one on the rear is the right. And the central one is the one that connects the main power and other functions. So the first thing to do is whip that off the box, so you can whip that off. So again, it's got these little trick connectors where you have to push the top down and then push them all the way down. Now on this model, the early parking sensor control units were color coded, so you see you've got the 3 plugs. Now note this order, so it goes blue, black, white. On the later modules, which I've got one of up here, you'll notice, this is the later module that superseded that one, you'll notice they haven't color coded the terminal. So if you use make sure you get the order the same there, so you've got blue, black.
10mm then.
10mm nuts off the back of this. Okay. Okay, now that's the parking sensor control module. So here you go. So there's the early one, and that was superseded. If I get it right, so you can see the part number. That one there was superseded with this one here. So if you're replacing it, you need to replace it with this later one, and then put that all back together, and hopefully that'll fix your problem. Okay, so one thing you got to do is check the continuity from if replacing the parking sensor doesn't work, you'll need to check the continuity. So we found here actually that there was a break in the wire up here, and we've had to solder a new bit of wire in, and we did that simply by unplugging the connector here. Okay, and then you've got these little contacts in the white bit there, and we pushed in the probe off the multimeter, okay, like so, into there. It'll probably take you a couple of people to do this. We then had the multimeter on the floor, and then we ran a long cable here. So we've got this yellow cable going alongside the car all the way up into the boot, and then what we did was we simply went round each of the pins there until we found one. And you should find that for every one of these wires here, they're color coded, they should connect to the front, and obviously we've marked this on the back here, front and rear, but you should be able to get a wire from there and continuity check it. And if you haven't got continuity, you've got a problem in the wire, and you need to strip back and have a look.